All right. Welcome, everyone, to our fourth and final session of Révolution, Dark Rituals, and Robespierre. My name is Sam Zimmerman. I will be facilitating this evening. I use he, him pronouns. And I would like the rest of us to really quickly introduce ourselves, and then we will go through and introduce characters, and then we will quickly run into our safety tools, and then we will get going right away because this is exciting and I want to see where we end up in our finale. So if we can go Stephen, Richard, Robbie, just introduce yourselves, pronouns. If you want to plug anything, go ahead.
Yeah, hey there, I'm Stephen, he, him, and I'm playing Claude, he, him, the lead inspector of the Department of Investigations that more or less has a monopoly on the tools of violence in the city since the Revolution. I mean, some people may be at my mercy. We'll see. They may escape. But yes, we may end up having some to fight. Yeah, we'll see. I'll allow other people to introduce what might be going wrong in the city right now. Those responsible for it.
I am Richard, he, him pronouns, playing Sabine, she, her pronouns. And yeah, I guess I'm the one who opened the can of worms last time. So we'll see how that all plays out with marching everyone into the miasma.
I am Robbie, use he, him pronouns. I am playing Aurore, she, her pronouns. She is an artist, and she is also somebody who has a interest in the character of Toulouse, who has a special tie to the miasma, and so she's trying to kind of figure out exactly where her allegiances lie, whether it's a personal relationship with Toulouse, where that might be going, or she also has her sights set on trying to control the miasma, but she feels like those two desires may be conflicting with each other. So she has a little quandary that she is facing.
All right. And I will be playing Jean-Baptiste, who is our disgraced and downtrodden noble, a remnant of the old monarchy who just got into the position where he had to sell out his brother in order to save his boyfriend. And so we will see where that pans out. I have no idea where that's going. We will find out. I'm excited. Before we get started, I just want to really quickly go over our safety tools. We are using Open Door, X Card, Script Change. Our lines and veils for this evening, we have lines on sexual assault and torture. We have veils on graphic gore and homophobia. And we are asking first on bullying, racism, human sexuality, and suicide. So with that in mind, does somebody have a scene that they have been dying for this last week to see how it goes? Because I know Richard kind of put us on this crazy situation where everything's going to shit.
Oh, come on. Everybody will come out just fine and it'll all be great.
If nobody has anything, I would love to just jump straight into the deep end with a faction v faction, Richard as the newly created like zombie horde almost of the miasma, because we've kind of established that that's a thing, and the sword trying to protect everybody.
Yeah, I was thinking about something like that. I was just kind of thinking about how we wanted to frame this. Because like I don't know, like can you do just like a straight up faction? Like it doesn't seem like it would be necessarily that interesting.
Yeah, so this, you could very easily do Claude running through the streets in the middle of this battle that's going on,
Right.
where Richard is using faction moves to do other things and influence the world around you.
Right. No, I was thinking of something else though. But yeah, that was something I was kind of thinking for. I think
If I could suggest, like,
yeah,
what we could do is like the idea that that you Claude, are sure that this is going to go badly, and you've kind of like hastily thrown together a cordon against whatever's going to be coming out. And then like as you know, twilight, as like, you know, maybe we went in at twilight, so maybe this is like at dawn the next day. You've spent all night like assembling a picket line on the outside of the miasma, waiting for, you know, what's going to emerge. That might give us something to work with.
sure. Yeah, I'm just kind of thinking of like a move to open on here. Sorry, I'm holding this up. I'm
No, it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, I think then that I'm gonna just straight up opening with underestimate someone's power and pay the price, because I think I have these. I brought out some of the swords and arms of the saber, and we are basically prepared for. I basically believe that that we are prepared for whatever is going to come out of there. Because it is just going to be firing upon some peasants and getting them back into line.
Well, maybe, yeah, you have the idea that this is mainly going to be arresting people.
I mean, I think I'm probably a little bit more cynical than that. I think it's probably going to involve shooting people. Probably a bit more than just arresting them. But yeah, I think that's basically what I envision it as.
You're imagining it as a police action, and it's
yeah,
gonna go worse than that. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So okay. Richard, why don't you frame us this scene?
All right. So I think that just there's this idea that whatever is going to come out of there is going to come out in the morning, and so Claude spends the night getting this line ready, and I think that I need to check some things. Okay, so I was gonna be doing I'm gonna do some potentially triggering stuff, but nobody has any lines on this. So what you see is that like you're kind of waiting, and you're imagining that there's gonna be this this horde of ravening zombie type creatures, and like there's some move, like you see this miasma, which I imagine as being kind of a like yellows and oranges and like pale greens kind of the like a mist or a fog, and it seems more active, and you see things stirring, and as the police squint into it, they see something emerging, and initially it's all children emerging from the miasma. You know, it's hard to tell, but like it's a situation where they're kind of approaching, and you know, like the older children carrying younger children, and you know, all of this is kind of catches these police off guard, because they're of course they're not going to open fire on a bunch of children. So Stephen, do you want to like decide how they react, or do you want to well, actually, that's what
No,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
I
do.
think they
Yeah.
definitely do. They hesitate. They kind of look uneasily between each other, I think.
And I think as they approach, I'm going to play a card here that I've been saving.
Oh, you know what?
Yes.
You may want to write in a relationship here because you forgot to add one at the end of last session.
Oh, yes.
Like if you want to say wants to fuck with the saber, wants to overthrow this damn saber, like that would be just because it might come up now.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm going to say wants to bring down the authority that the saber represents.
Cool.
All right. So, okay. So what happens is I'm gonna play the world, major arcana. There, in order to discover how someone is vulnerable and act on the answer. And essentially the way this is going to play out is that like these children approach, and there's just this kind of shift in the crowd, and like there's this moment when one of the soldiers puts down his gun and like goes to like help this child, and as he walks, he doesn't notice that he's being surrounded, and these children like beat him to death with rocks. As and like it's kind of this signal, like all these children attack the soldiers in this kind of like emotionless way that just like ends up you know, seriously damaging the line. Like some of the soldiers, like, you know, just break because they can't, you know, this is hard to handle. Others are, you know, hesitant to shoot. Ones that do shoot are like, some of them are being like you know, getting in fights with other soldiers because those soldiers think they should be shooting at children. And you know, it ends up resulting in this utter chaos.
Yeah. And I think that Claude is not prepared for any of this. I think that Claude like looks about, confused, a bit afraid, and he decides he kind of rears back his horse and goes galloping like through the carnage away, like trying to escape.
Okay.
So, mechanically, do you want to? Sabine has a bargain that when you ignore the trodden when you shouldn't,
Oh yeah, you could
you can
certainly
draw a card.
draw a card there.
Yeah, that might be the case, sure. I'm just gonna have to let this part of the city fall, I guess.
Fall back and fight another day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
This
like
is-
as
this
you're
is
falling
why-
back, yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, this is why, as the novel goes, you need to nip the bud, shoot the kid.
So yeah, I think, and as you're going, like you see like larger adult figures starting to like emerge in the in the distance as as you kind of play out this route.
Yeah, and I think that like we kind of see the soldiery like falling back or just falling to this horde emerging from the mists. Like there is chaos in the streets. Yeah, I think I'm fine with this being kind of a shorter scene, and that's where we
Yeah,
can...
I think maybe we pan out to like an aerial view and we see like this miasma spreading along the avenues as it expands into the city at large.
Before we move away, I do want to ask. I'm sure that there was at least one shot in there where one of these kids legitimately got hit with a bullet. What happens?
I think that they like I think that they kind of like don't cry out. You see that like a couple of I think that just as they're doing with the bodies of the fallen, they're like kind of as the opportunities arise, just kind of dragging the injured and wounded, the wounded and killed back into the fog.
Okay, so they can be stymied, but they will retreat and potentially heal off that. Okay, yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, but like it's they don't seem it's really like they don't seem to have a lot in the way of like tactical awareness or anything else like that. It's just very almost like ants more than anything else.
Yeah, we've transitioned from stalkers to Dead Space.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Do we want to jump to Jean-Baptiste or do we want to jump to Aurore?
I mean, I am interested to see, like, because I know Jean-Baptiste still had wanted to like cash in that favor to like get himself out. Is this something that like that Aurore might be intervening at this point to like break you out, since she does owe you, I believe?
Yeah, so I Aurore does owe me a favor. And so I do like the image of like I'm in my cell and I start hearing gunfire going off in the distance, and then all the guards get up and leave, and Aurore walks in, and it's the like, there's something going on outside. Let's get you out of here. If you're good with that, Robbie.
Yeah. And so Aurore would have some sense of what is going on outside, right? And so
yeah,
she's come here to take advantage of that situation to get Jean-Baptiste.
Yeah, I like that. Um, what is your entrance?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about Aurora. You know, and let me just remind myself of my moves here. Okay. Yeah. So before, I'm just trying to get a sense also of like what Aurora is doing before the scene on screen opens. So she, I guess we would have imagined her. Well, I wonder if so he's kind of in a what uh, a a brig or a jail right now.
Yeah, it's like a holding cell. I imagine it being in the like the investigation office and not like a true jail cell.
Yeah.
He hasn't been processed yet.
I imagine something like that.
Yeah, and Aurora kind of knowing a bit of what the kind of chaos that is erupting has dropped by. And I mean, when she drops in, she already sees that there's like a buzz going on in right in the building, and so she's able to kind of slip in and be somewhat unnoticed. I mean, because right, everybody's is kind of more concerned with other things. And yeah, so in the midst of this, right, you have people that are now kind of leaving, right, that there's kind of shouting, there's a kind of chaos that's starting to kind of take over this. And Jean-Baptiste sees her stepping somewhat calmly in front of the cell, and she says, "Oh, Jean-Baptiste, fancy meeting you here. Although I can't say that I'm totally surprised to see you in this predicament."
It's good to see you, Aurora. Won't deny that. And he is very unkempt. Like he's still wearing the same like overcoat that you saw him in earlier, but it is wrinkled, it is dirty. It looks like he hasn't taken it off in the last 2 days, and it's just gross. But he stands up and like seeing you tries to brush it off as best he can and doesn't do a very good job. And walks over to the bars and looks out at you kind of questioningly. Do you have any idea what's going on outside?
Well, things are becoming a bit unhinged, I guess you could say.
Is this a good unhinged? Like your revolution has finally taken hold and your brave Bonnet Rouge are defeating the establishment again? Or is this more killings and more guillotines?
I I guess you could say it's a bit up in the air now. It depends on how things will break at this point.
Well, I suppose you're here for something. The office
Yeah,
is right there.
yes, I am here for something. I was here to see, to see what kind of help you might need from me, if I could kind of offer some aid or assistance, but if so, what I might get in return.
You definitely get to draw a card because one of my bargains is when they earn your respect through devious machinations. And Jean-Baptiste just laughs and says, "Oh, I'm sure I can think of something." And let's do this. I am going to play the lovers to say that I pull out a key to that I nicked off of Claude's jacket when I shoved him against the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And I have something that someone else wants. And so let's go see what's in his office.
That sounds intriguing. I think Claude is having a bit of a difficult time, and this actually might be precisely the point to get some leverage over him. And I think with that, Aurore, who also has a key, she pulls out and says, and look what I have here, another key. And she says, okay, so this seems like a fair exchange. And she puts her key into the lock to spring you out.
Awesome. And so I think I'm going to hand you the key and I'm going to leave. Some people I care about might be in trouble. And so I will leave you to your investigation, and I've got some explaining to do to my brother.
Are you sure that you wouldn't want to? It should just take us a moment to see what Claude has in his.
I have already screwed up that relationship enough. I don't need Claude to be any more angry at me. You've earned this. Take it.
I think I would like you to come with me.
Okay.
And I think I might play a card to trap, trick, or lure someone into a position of weakness.
Okay. Yeah, do it.
And so, okay, so I have the major arcana here. Let me pull that out. Oh, there it is. The death card. And I think what the way I do this is by Aurore reveals to you a little bit more of the details as to what exactly is happening outside, and says, last I saw of Claude, he was behaving in a most unheroic fashion. He was there with the soldiers. They knew that something was going to be coming out of the miasma And when it happened, well, the troops were trying their best to handle the situation, but Claude decided to break rank and leave his post. So Jean-Baptiste, this seems like a golden opportunity for you and for me. I don't know why you would turn down.
All right. You've convinced me. Lead the way.
And you know, with this, she gives you the key back and says, "Let's go."
I'm gonna take a card because I'm working with you in common cause at this point, and you have a bargain for that. So yeah, let's go and see what's in this office. Stephen, do you want to set the scene for us?
I think that what you come to in the office is, I don't know if it's okay for me to, if you're fine with me doing this or not. Otherwise, we can do it a different way. But because I was planning on playing the card, let's see here, the something of Pentacles.
I think that's a 10, but
yeah, I wasn't gonna count. I didn't really care enough to count. To retrieve an item you need from your laboratory or office.
Oh, so you show up.
Yes. I think you come in on me like turning over my own office. If that is okay with you.
I love that. Yeah, so it should, like, lay out the scene for us.
Yeah, I think that like I said, you kind of see like it, like the office is kind of turned over, like somebody has been searching through it, like rifling through it in a fervor. And Claude is there. He has lost some of his usual diffidence to instead and is instead kind of mumbling to himself. And I think he probably does not entirely notice you when you come in.
What would Jean-Baptiste do? I think just looks in. Something troubling you.
I glance up at you.
Wait, can I rewind?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I think the better answer is we probably wouldn't recognize that it's you if you've just come from the battlefield and you're looking away from us. And so we just think somebody else is here rifling through Claude's office.
Okay.
And so, whoa, okay, who had our idea first?
Yeah, I glance up at you, glance at Sabine.
Claude?
It appears that, I mean, not Sabine, sorry, Aurora. Aurora, yeah. It appears that you got out. It appears you had, and I kind of look over at Aurora. Oh, what's the word? I'm suddenly forgetting it. Conspirators.
And it looks like you're in a panic.
Yes, if you had planned on ransacking my office, and I kind of let out a kind of slightly nervous laugh. It appears that I beat you to it.
Like I look over at Aurora, like, I'm a little concerned about him. Is he okay?
I don't know why you are concerned about me, but okay. That is out of character.
Yeah, I mean, Aurora says, Claude, I am surprised to see you here. I expected that you certainly would be helping to keep some order out in the streets, and instead I see you in your own office creating disorder.
Mistress Sabine's rabble are merely a symptom of a deeper disease. And I kind of like I kind of just pull over a bookcase, like as if I expect there to be something behind it, but I kind of am a bit disappointed when there's not. What is the clear cause, the clear cause of the syndrome is la miasma. If we are to quash things before they get out of hand, we must find a means of poisoning the root. And I believe I may have here just the means. Pull out a drawer, dump all of its contents onto the ground, look down at it.
Well, I guess that that there are different ways to approach diseases. You know, you can try to kind of you know, put an instant stop to it, but you could also watch it run its course a bit and see if maybe there are well, maybe there are ways of then getting some control of the disease and perhaps even getting it to serve some useful purpose.
What are you talking about? No, that's not how diseases work. No. I don't.
The city
What
is
is,
in
what
chaos,
is going
Jean-Baptiste.
on?
The city is in chaos, Jean-Baptiste. The miasma flows free to infect and claim all that it will. And I am here trying to find a solution, unlike Aurora, who has decided to retreat to poetry.
I think that is exactly the moment where Jean-Baptiste finds his humanity and realizes that he has to go save people. Just like, oh God, what is going on? I have people I care about, and they're definitely not the two people in this room.
That's fair. Yeah, and yeah. And is that like the closing shot that we see Jean-Baptiste running off, and then like Claude pulling out a vial of something noxious and dark from one of his drawers?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. And I think also you see Aurora turning around and she pulls out her, right, she has her kind of multicolored glass containing some bit of the miasma in it that she has been kind of carrying under her coat. And as she walks away, we see that she's holding that bit of the miasma as she leaves the building.
Awesome. Where do we want to go from here? Because we have a definite scene with Jean-Baptiste and his brother that we could do. Um,
I'd like to see that. I'd also like to see like unless like Richard is planning on really holding it tight against his chest until the end of the session, to actually see where Sabine is in all this.
I do agree. I want to see actual Sabine at some point.
Yeah, I kind of have a general direction that that things are moving. I think that yeah, I'm trying to think of a way to frame it. Because I could just sit and like narrate like shots and scenes, but I know that we want to create some interaction. So I'm trying to think of a good way in on that.
Like, I know that like I'm establishing more or less that Claude is seeking a way of poisoning the miasma. Is there perhaps like a confrontation where you try to turn me away from that to join you or something?
Well, I think that there is a certain sense in which um you know, I think the only person who isn't like, you know, like I don't think Jean-Baptiste has any particular attraction to the miasma, but Claude and Aurore both have this like kind of you know, attraction to it, you know, a desire to harness it. And I think that like I like the idea. Like I think you know, Aurore with your little bottle of miasma, I think like I kind of want to tempt you with like the idea that like, yeah, you know, maybe what's going on is exactly the right way to get what you want out of it.
Oh yeah, I like the
Maybe,
idea that maybe this is back at her studio.
yeah. Maybe like, you know, there's a sense like it's taking, you know, she's like in her studio. Yeah, okay, I can see how this works. If we kind of put Aurore in her studio, like you know, contemplating this miasma that she's been carrying with her, and it just seems to be just calling to her in some way. And you know, she has her is there like a particular piece Aurora is working on, or you're muted, Robbie?
Yeah, I think what you do is you see her in front of a canvas, just with like some charcoal, sketching out the outline of some new piece. And it's a pretty big piece of canvas that she's working on.
Yeah, and I think that like you're kind of you know, caught up in it a little bit, and but there is like before you know, you realize in a moment of kind of artistic reverie that Sabine is standing at your shoulder, like very, very close, like almost like whispering in your ear. And she says, you know, this is the liberty to create that you've always wanted.
And Aurore is surprised, obviously. I mean, that she's been so kind of engrossed in this that she kind of jumps and kind of almost knocks her canvas to the ground, but kind of you know, kind of catches it. And She says, Sabine, what are you doing here?
I'm here to liberate you, to liberate everyone.
Well, you certainly, well, I mean, it seems like something certainly has been liberated. I guess the question is, for what end? Is this going to kind of lead to destruction, or could it be turned to some other use?
And this is where I'm gonna use this faction move of tempting someone with freedom, depravity, or sinfulness. I'm gonna, like, why do you worry? It's not the job of an artist to think about consequences.
Aurora, well, seems like there are always consequences, but I guess in the sense that the artist needs to think about consequences in a way different than those who are not artists. I mean, that artists have always been kind of misunderstood.
Why are you talking like these philosophers? Don't I thought that this was a fire in you that you were seeking to express, and here you are intellectualizing it and breaking it down into its nuances, when you know in your heart that this is that you need to simply liberate this and let it go where it will, and only then will you know where your art is taking you.
When you say that, Aurora, who has that glass container nearby on a table, she looks over at it and picks it up.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And I think she holds it in front of Sabine and says, Look in this glass and tell me what you see.
I don't have to look. All I see is that you have put up a boundary between you and what you hope will inspire you, and until that boundary is gone, you will never know. And can you bear to live your life not knowing? Can you dare to think of yourself as anything but an illustrator, a servant of the nobility, if you are not willing to unflinchingly face the chaos?
Aurora says, what you say has some wisdom to it. She has also her palette of some oil paint standing by. She hasn't applied any of that to the canvas, but I think she says, I will dwell on what you say. This may in fact be a kind of gateway to kind of artistic conceptions that I've always dreamed of. And you see her like go to that palette, and she uncaps this bottle of miasma, and you see her pouring some of it onto her palette, and says, Sabine, leave me at least a bit more to my art. and let me see where some of these new ideas take me.
Okay. As she leaves, and two things are gonna. Well, first, I'm going to play another card here. So I am going to where is it? I'm going to use my learning to provide knowledge. And as I leave, I am going to because we have this this shared theatrical background. I am applying a whole thing with this. On my way out, I say, I quote Faust. As soon as you trust yourself, you will know how to live. And it's like my final bid, and I'm telling you, like, I'm offering, I'm pretty much explicitly offering you a devil's bargain.
Yeah, and I think I'm also gonna play. I'm kind of falling in line with this, but I have a strong also of create something. Where is this? Create something beautiful and terrible. And I think she's going to kind of take your Faustian bargain and then is going to leverage that with the miasma to start unleashing something beautiful and terrible on her canvas that is perhaps going to also bubble out of her canvas.
Yeah. And I think as you start to like become, feel this inspiration, Sabine just kind of like, you don't even see her exit. She's just not there anymore, and you're just so distracted by your artistic vision.
Yeah, and you see her applying this kind of miasmic infused paint, and right, it I imagine that the cinematographer would get surreal with this, right? That there's the colors are moving and scintillating as she starts kind of applying them to the canvas.
I love that. And then, do you want to narrate us into a cliffhanger before we go to our first break? Or do you want to end the scene there?
I can end it there. I don't have a problem with that.
I mean, I could add something that might be something of a cliffhanger, which is that walking on the street outside, like, do we know what has happened to Toulouse at this point?
We haven't seen him yet.
Maybe we see him a couple blocks away, walking down the street, close to the studio of Aurore.
Yeah. I love this image of like the corruption has gone from his hand, but it's still not covering all of him. And so like he looks up and you've got one black eye and one normal eye, and he looks up at the balcony, at Aurore's balcony, and then we cut.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. I think that's a perfect spot for our first break. 10 minutes. Good for you guys. A little bit longer. So be back like 5 after the hour. Cool. I will see you then. Hello. Steven says that he's back, but eating food, that's fine. Where do we want to go from here? I like the idea of just leaving Toulouse for a little bit. Let that simmer. do we want to have another Jean-Baptiste and Claude type scene, or Jean-Baptiste and the Saber scene? It sounds like.
Well, yeah. My impression was that you wanted to go and find your brother.
Yeah, and so I had this image in my head of like interrupting an arrest almost.
Right. Yeah.
And then it getting yelled at because I'm the one that caused the arrest in the first place, and then having to deal with all that fallout. So to start off the gravy train of me getting basically kind of screwed in this situation, I'm going to start off with a weak move of bite off more than I can chew. And so I think the situation here is like I show up by my lonesome in basically the rags that I've been wearing for 2 days and no weapon. And there's probably 4 of them, 4 like armed guards.
Yeah, I kind of though want to turn this back on you a little bit, even a little bit more though.
Okay.
Because I think that like you've come here expecting that there is going to be like them, like your brother in chains, but instead they seem to be like your brother seems to be like fine. In fact, they seem to be looking after him.
Okay. I like this. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that like they are explicitly like looking to use Jean-Baptiste as like a public figure. I'm not Jean-Baptiste. What's your brother's name? I'm forgetting.
Louis.
Yeah, I think that they are, but they want to control Louis. They don't want to like arrest him. And so that means giving him luxuries that he hasn't been getting from you.
Okay, so okay. So I burst into that chamber that we established earlier. Like I've got maybe like a candlestick or something, like I'm ready to fight, and there's just everybody's got their guns down. There's like a captain or something who's sitting across from the table, across the desk, sharing a decanter of wine with Louis.
Yeah, and do you think somebody else take on the role of Louis? Because I feel like probably like the actual like head of the Department of Investigations is here.
Not Claude?
No, Claude is just a lead investigator.
Ah,
He's
okay.
important, but not the head.
I like that. All right. Robbie or Richard?
I'm fine if you want me to play Louis.
All right. Yeah, so I kind of weak moved myself into this. So I think the first thing that happens is I rush in with a candlestick, and the guard that's by the door just grabs my arm and twists it.
Ah, is this your brother, Monsieur Jean-Baptiste? It's a pleasure. One of my subordinates had made his acquaintance, but I have never had the pleasure.
What are you doing here?
Why, we've simply come to make your brother a generous offer. Having a piece like a member of the royal bloodline on the board and not controlled by anyone, well, that's just bad business. But I must say, are all your relatives like this? Because we may have to do something about them if they insist on being so rambunctious.
Louis.
I say, looking to Louis.
Well, rambunctious. That hardly seems to be the appropriate word. I would say, well, a more appropriate term for people like me, I suppose, would be practical or pragmatic.
Oh, no, no, no. I entirely think that you are practical and pragmatic, sir. You have entirely impressed me with your pragmatism, intelligence, and wit. And I am completely just not meaning any of this, but I do not think Louis picks up on that. I was speaking more about this one, and I kind of gesture over at Jean-Baptiste.
Well, you know, he is. Let's just say that he is a little slow to pick up on things, but eventually he comes around and sees the wisdom of things.
Ah, he understands his place then.
Louis. Do not listen to them, I beg you.
Louis, your brother would have you believe that we in the Saber merely wish to subvert and control the crown, but we simply wish to give you your proper due. We wish to see you upon a throne, and with the right, how shall we say, the right advisors, advising you on the proper course of action.
They would see you chained to that throne with your head in a noose.
My head in the noose.
I would ask your servant to be a bit more to be a bit less rude.
Servant? You, my friend, are
I look at you, I look at your clothes. I ask you to contradict me on this.
and I am I think I'm going to be harsher than I intend and just slam the guy that's got my arm like into a wall and turn and stomp off.
And I think Louis will say
We shall have
Claude,
to do something about him.
well, Claude, you're.
This I'm not Claude. I'm the lead of the.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Just as a reminder.
Okay. What is your name?
Oh,
I don't know. Do we need to come up with one, or
yeah, we haven't established his name.
could be Francois or
Yeah, Francois, sure.
So, Francois, I do wish that you would choose your words sometimes a little bit more carefully. To granted, he did look like a wreck, but you didn't have to kind of hit him, with the tag servant. That seemed a little bit below the belt, don't you think?
My dear Louis, it's always important to remember that there are some of us who are in the position to lead and to rule, and that some of us are in the position to serve. It is always important to remember who is who.
I'm going to play a card.
Okay.
I'm going to play the 10 of Swords, which is to trap someone either physically or morally. I walk into the room with a pistol and shoot Louis.
I look down.
And I look at the inspector and I say, I guess you have to deal with me now.
Of course, my liege. And I think that's a good place to end that scene. I think I got what I wanted out of that scene, though.
That's awesome. Do we want to see what actual Claude has been up to? Because I'm very curious what the plan is here with this miasma poison thing. If you're okay with being in another scene.
Yeah, no, I'm okay. I think that we see Claude and I may have no one else I can fall back on. Jean. I think we find us beneath in the catacombs, because as we established, the sword has been making use of these as ways of funneling and directing the miasma.
Okay. I can play Jean. Richard, do you want to hop in the scene as like the voice of the miasma almost? Because that seems to be
I was muted. Yeah, I can do that. I have some thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, so where are we going?
It is like playing Minder to children with you, but we are going to we are going to the heart, to the outpouring.
I don't know what that is.
To the place of the breach of the miasma into this world. Whether it is merely a geological fact or a cosmic one, I do not know. And I think Claude probably looks pretty fucking crazy at this point. But we go there to poison the root. And perhaps all those creatures that feed on it now will find the meal no longer to their liking.
Can I make a suggestion as like part of how this goes? Is maybe like the idea of how you've been diverting this is that you've like actually deployed like mechanisms throughout the catacombs that allow you to like alter the pathways that lead through it. And
yeah,
that's how
I
you're
kind
able
of think
to
that there are like
that.
actual like channels dug through the catacombs. That,
right,
like,
and or like that. What I'm thinking is that it's like there's just like various doorways and arches and stuff that you've rigged up like mechanical systems that like cut them off and open them over like the last few years. You've done all this, and so there's like a kind of control room that you're going to like clear a path to get to the heart. Like, does that make sense? Like
I guess like fictionally, do you have a particular reason for that, or does it add something? Or...
Well, yeah. Well, what I'm thinking is that like, you know, you've been diverting this in these ways. So like the idea would be that it would put you would thinking that you were creating a situation where you had a safe path to get to where you were going to deliver the poison. You in fact end up in a bad position in the end, because like,
yeah, I guess what I'm asking is like, isn't that something we can just sort of have elided over as having happened at this point, or do you have a particular reason for going?
What I was thinking is that the mechanisms have been disabled.
Okay.
But like you don't know that until you get there to disable them, and then you're kind of like stuck in the catacombs. And it's much more dangerous than you anticipated to get to where you're going.
I think that
I'm
can
saying I
happen.
get all that
that's
happening.
fine. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
fine with all that happening. I just think that we can just say that that's happened. I don't really think I need
Okay, yeah.
the scene of going to the.
No, that's
Yeah.
fine. We could. So the idea then would be maybe like, this moment where you realize you've been kind of cut off and this is going to be more difficult than it seems, or than you thought it was going to be.
Are you putting someone in a bad spot?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think like the miasma, you realize like partway through essentially that the miasma isn't behaving the way you expected it to, and it's cut off your retreat.
It's taken on an intelligence. I mumble to myself. What to do? What to do? What to do?
What are you talking about? You're manic right now.
Yes, and sorry, Jean Baptiste. I kind of look to Jean, and perhaps with the proper bait, we may find our way through. And if you would, this next passage requires two to work either handle. Take that one there, yes. And I think that like when John goes to take it, I like slam the door shut behind him, and I shout, "I am sorry, Jean. There are times when it is more important to sacrifice the one for the many. I had thought of you as a son, a disappointing son, but a son nonetheless."
Ouch. Okay.
I am hurting someone I care about. I am sacrificing you as bait, Jean.
Okay. And yeah, it's this solid stone wall, and you hear banging from the other side of it, and then after a while the banging slows and then stops.
And then I flee down the passage. Claude.
As you proceed, what I think happens is that like as you go, like whenever you reach an intersection, there is always a path that is free of miasma. Like, it's up to you whether you take that path of least resistance or not. Are you willing to like, it seems as though it's like the thing that's bothersome to you is that like it doesn't seem to be closing in on you so much as like providing you with only one path at any given time, that maybe it's leading you.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I feel like I want to pull this out. I guess I'm asking the miasma, what secret do I hold over you?
Well, and I think that like the sense that you get is that like this is how it's communicating with you. That like, all it can do is like it doesn't have words, so it's tempting you with like well, in a way tempting you with freedom.
Well, so what's the secret I hold over you?
Well, you're using the.
Yeah, I'm asking what secret. I'm actually using that card. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, I had forgotten that you had a move like that. No, I think that like you know about it. You know something about it that makes you different. You know, the secret you hold is that you know
Oh, yeah, I think I hold like a vial of the blood I took from Toulouse out as a kind of protective amulet against it. Because Toulouse has something that has kept this at bay in him. And I know it is in the blood. And this is, of course, a secret I've been sitting with for a while about him.
and so yeah, it's been unable to act directly on you because of that.
Can I really
Yeah.
quickly
Yeah.
ask, is this going like divine providence blood of kings type thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think that
Because
I think that
I would like
actually
to remove
yeah,
that as
I
an
actually
option.
was what I was thinking in my head is that it's like, yes, everybody knows that he's the son of the king, but who was his actual mother? And I think his mother was what is the actual important one in the equation.
Okay. I like that.
That's what I was thinking. Like I don't have an answer to that.
I wasn't headed in that direction either.
Yeah.
But no, I think that it's just like there's something in your possession of this. I don't think it's like a bloodline so much as like, you know, there's just something that like, because of the things, you know, the miasma is not empowered to act directly against you. And like part of it is like that you have this sample, and you know, it's
Yeah.
so all it can really do is like try to manipulate you through its absence.
Yeah. And I think that like I think I like look in the direction I need to go, and I hold out the vial and thrust it with it held in my hand into the miasma, and it burns and pains me. But I think I like try to sort of force the miasma to open before me with it. And I think that I'm fine with like ending the scene on a cliffhanger there and going to someone else.
Okay,
If that works, if that fictionally
that's fine
works
by
for
me.
you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. What does Toulouse see when he walks into Aurore's studio?
I mean, Aurore is still kind of engrossed in this art project.
I'm imagining it's been a couple of hours.
Mm-hmm.
And so like, are we almost done? Is that this like expansive, chaotic piece? What are we looking at here?
Yeah, I think it, I mean, it is nearing completion. I mean, you can definitely see what is represented on the canvas. And again, it is a painting that represents Toulouse as some type of heroic figure. But I think Toulouse finds the representation rather grotesque, right? That for him, I mean, Aurore doesn't see it that way, right? I mean, she sees, you know, she kind of sees Toulouse as the you know, I don't know, a kind of messiah or something like that, but that kind of is kind of dipping into the miasma, and somehow, you know, it's I mean, I think that there's some religious symbology that's in there about like there's like some transubstantiation thing that's kind of going on, and Toulouse is like, you know, becoming this new kind of leader. And it is definitely the type of thing though where Aurore has this vision, and for her, she's kind of totally overcome with it, but kind of Toulouse walks in, and I think his initial reaction is one of being both confused and, insofar as he can kind of understand it, being kind of appalled by this.
Yeah, so I think Toulouse won't say anything for a long while as he slowly walks into the center of the room and just stares up at this thing in like horror. And when he does speak, he just says, "What have you done?"
And Aurore, before turning around, she recognizes the voice. And so she stops and takes a couple steps back from the canvas, surveying it, and then turns to Toulouse and she says, my mind has been uplifted.
Can I introduce something?
Mm-hmm.
That your eyes are starting to do the black miasma thing.
Yeah. And what does Toulouse look like at this point? I mean, is he...
Yeah, so that like black oozing ichor that was coming out of his that coin in his hand is now spread, and it looks like his veins are just pulsing with this black tar, and it's spread all up to about halfway across his face and most of his chest, under this like ripped shirt that he's wearing, and it's just this black pulsing ooze under his skin almost. And
Yeah.
he's got one eye that is just completely solid black.
And Aurore, who has the miasmic eyes, she surveys him and is clearly kind of looking him up and down and seeing the kind of signs of the miasma, and walks over to him, takes him by the hand, and kind of shows him that arm so that they can both look at this, and says, "How does it feel? You are being transformed. But how does that feel? And what do you feel you are becoming?"
No, this isn't right. No, you were supposed to help me.
She says, Toulouse, I think your problem is you are fighting this. Come. And she tries to take him close to the canvas, right, leading him by the hand.
I want to introduce a unique, rare, or specialized item ish. And I'd like the figure to step out of the painting. This massive, like bulk, like miasmic creature basically pulls itself out of the painting and starts walking towards you. And Toulouse is like trying to pull you away, and you're just trying to drag him closer to the painting.
And Aurore, seeing that, I think, her reaction is to lose. Don't be afraid. Can't you see? This is like a breakthrough, right? My vision is, it is coming to life right before our eyes.
How do we want to end this scene? Is this where is this where Toulouse dies? Or like gives in? Because I feel like if Aurore is going down, Toulouse has lost hope, essentially. So if you're driving towards that, that's where this is going to go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that maybe that is, maybe that is, here's one possibility. Maybe that is what happens, but right, there is now this kind of miasmic replacement, right, that Aurore has right in front of her, and being kind of confronted with that reality. I think, Toulouse, obviously, this is, just too much for him, right? And maybe Toulouse essentially gets absorbed into this thing that has come out of the canvas now, and that is now Aurore's attachment, right? That she's become fixated on that.
Okay. That's fun. So Toulouse, like, I do want to have the scene of like this thing is continuing to walk towards the pair, and eventually like they're struggling, they're trying to pull each other back and forth, and eventually it gets close enough where Toulouse just says, I'm not letting it get Aurore first, and jumps in front of Aurore and like tackles this thing, and the two of them just coalesce into this merged something. And like, I don't know. I don't know where that goes.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we end the scene with maybe Aurore just down on her knees in front of it? Kind of in some type of reverential awe of.
Yeah, there's like this swirling ball of this black ichor and the miasma turning into this cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Boy, that's not going to be good for anybody, is it?
No, I don't think so. Especially for Aurore, but where exactly that gets unleashed. Yeah.
Yeah. We are a little bit early, but I feel like this is honestly a good spot to take a break, because I feel like the next couple of scenes are probably going to go long. So do we want to take a quick 5-minute, or at this point 7-minute break, be back at 10 before the hour?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah. See you guys in a bit. All right. Seems like we are all here. Who would like to start our descent into the end of this?
I have an idea of at least like near the climax, if not the actual climax, might be at the Paris Opera House.
Okay.
So like maybe we can start drawing people in that direction.
So yeah, why don't we get that started? What is Sabine doing at this point? Because we haven't seen Sabine in a while.
Well, yeah, she appeared in Aurora's studio, and that was
Yeah, and that was the last we saw of her.
right. So let's see. Well, she has. How can. Well, like I said, I think that Claude and Aurora have this temptation with the miasma. I'm wondering how Sabine and how Jean Baptiste figures into that. So
I have an idea.
Okay.
Kind of in order for this to work, we would have to establish that there's some kind of like hive mind behind the miasma where you are the voice of the
I think that's close enough to like how I'm thinking about it. I don't want to I don't want to play it as like too alien or too devoid of emotion. I think I think putting a little spin on it because I think that like we're establishing the miasma as having some kind of connection to art, and so that seems to like put a twist on it, but that's not in conflict with any kind of idea of hive mind. But like
okay.
Yeah.
So my idea is that after dealing with all of the stuff back at the Louis' apartments, Jean Baptiste would probably go out and try to find Jean, who he was the other person that he was worried about. And I love the idea
wrong person to go to first.
Yeah. But he would. I love this idea of him, of Jean Baptiste, like running through the streets of Paris, trying to find any sign of Jean anywhere, and running into Sabine in like an alleyway or something. And it's this standoff with the two of us at one at either end of this alleyway.
All right. Yeah, I think that works. I think that like I think at this point the visibility in Paris has dropped to like 30, 40 feet. And it's this kind of like people just kind of emerge out of nowhere almost. And this is this moment where like the mist kind of like just clears a little bit in this alley, as though this encounter is like supposed to happen. Why do you run, Jean Baptiste?
And as you walk under like this sputtering gas lantern that is like Jean Baptiste just like recoils from this thing standing in front of him. It's like, Sabine? That can't be you. What has happened?
What happens to everything? It's transformation.
This is not transformation. This is falling to the devil. This is Satan's work. What are you? I need to. And he like starts walking forward as if to like push past you.
Oh, Jean Baptiste, why don't you trust me?
Why don't I trust you? and yeah, that makes him stop. Why don't I trust you? You have never had my interest at heart, even when you were normal, and now you look like you've been dead for 10 years. What makes me think that you are in any way interested in my best interest right now? I'm going to.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you say I can tell you where Jean is, that is more than enough.
That was kind of my idea is that she kind of it's not quite like she kind of like there's this elegant arm movement that points out, and like the mists kind of swirl, and there's like this it's not completely clear, but it's almost like a path that shows the way, and says I think that I know that you seek something, and I do not think that it will bring you what you wish, but I think there's only one way for you to find that out.
I'm going to play a card right now.
Okay.
The card I'm playing is who is willing to make a deal with me? What do you want out of this?
What do I want? When you, Jean-Baptiste, when you know truly that what you seek has come to ashes in your mouth, and all your hope is lost, I want you to find me. I want you to come to me. I want to know what you have to say when all is dust around you.
That's not ominous at all. I love it.
And I'm okay with ending there if you want.
Yeah, no, that's a solid spot to end the scene. Do we want to go back down into the catacombs and see what happens when Claude gets to the root?
Sure, we can go there. I guess again, Richard, if you want to take up the role of being
no problem.
Yeah.
So how do you see this working?
I mean, I see it as like this is now like Claude stands at the precipice of this great chasm, and I think that here there seems to be an impossible depth that like the miasma almost seems to sort of flow like water from.
Okay. I think that it kind of I think that it operates in this way that like is kind of uncanny, almost like when you look at like a non-Newtonian liquid or something like that, where like it's there's something deeply uncanny. It's moving, and in this way that's not normally what human beings are accustomed to anticipating, the way that, you know, a gas or a liquid or whatever would move. You know, it seems to have intention. And I think that you have this moment over these depths where there is I'm going to kind of put you in a bad position here, and but also tempt you. You feel this what they call l'appel du vide, the draw or the appeal of the void. And it's this idea of, you know, you are on this precipice, and you know that you could with just a moment surrender, and it would be so easy to do.
I think tears in his eyes. He's going to reject this intimacy. It's a weak move, but I think it fits here.
Yeah. So yeah, but it calls to you this, you know, I always put it like, I always have the urge when I'm on a tall building to throw my glasses off it. You know, for no reason other than thinking about how badly it would mess my life up. So here, yeah. So what do you what draws you, what keeps you from embracing this freedom? It could all be over right now. What is it that makes Claude, that draws him back to the world?
Oh, what is it? I think that Claude is tearful and screams into the void that I have sacrificed too much for the sake of the world to be drawn away from it now. I know what you are. You are the chaos. You are the unordered. And I will not allow you to have a grasp upon this world any longer. And I think this is, I have it here. I have it, and it's definitely the card I want to pull out now. I think I draw forth that flask, and I'm playing the devil to destroy something violently. And I think I throw it into the void. And what kind of this that the water that this miasma flows from, and what happens? Like I am trying to destroy this font violently.
I think that there is at first it seems as though it didn't do anything. Do you throw the entire vial or do you empty it?
No, I think I like throw it in. And I think at this point, like, as it seems to not do anything, I kind of fall to my knees because I have been like forcing my way through the miasma. I think I think we kind of see Claude coughing up blood and ichor, and it's clear that it has had an impact on him.
All right. I think that yeah, I think that it there is there's this intake of like air that Claude feels at his back, as it like it's almost this like inhalation, and then like an explosive exhalation that sends this like this mist. It doesn't disappear, but it like radiates out through like, and there seems to be like a I think it kind of this play, the miasma isn't entirely gone, but it seems as though its source is disrupted. And I think that like I don't think that it's full on like Raiders of the Lost Ark, walls crumbling and that kind of thing, but it is that like it becomes clear that you need to get away from here, and as you're stumbling through the catacombs.
Nah, I don't think.
No?
I think Claude passes.
Oh, you're gonna let it. You're gonna let it go.
I think
Okay.
I think he full on dies here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Can I request that you don't die?
Okay. All right.
Because I'm building up my.
Because you want to murder me yourself. I know.
Yep.
I've watched anime before.
Well, I think
Don't take my vengeance away.
Yeah, I think that you like I think that ultimately what ends up happening is that like your path is through the catacombs to beneath the opera house. Like you don't know that that's where you're headed, but like, something seems to it seems to, whatever's going on seems to guide you there. You feel a pull as you're stumbling, half blind, coughing up blood, as you wander through these,
Sure.
You don't even have a source of light anymore. You're just staggering blindly through these catacombs.
Sure.
Does that?
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Definitely got a point for order, though.
Yep. All right. So we basically had this like almost shockwave go up, and so I'm assuming that all of the infected know that something's wrong. Something needs to happen. How does Aurora react now that she's like connected to all of this?
Well, I think Aurora, that would depend on what this kind of materialized miasma is doing. I think, what Aurora is saying in her kind of reverie is that the miasma can take form. It's not complete mindless disorder, but here, materialized in front of me, is the sign that the miasma can be more than simply a kind of chaotic swirl of destruction, right? It is here now, right? It has come into the world and it has taken shape partly through my art. And I imagine that, I mean, this miasmic thing, which periodically takes a somewhat human shape, but periodically is.
Yeah, I imagine this almost as like a whirlwind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm assuming it's his mom. This is all part of her plan.
Yeah, it's just this this cyclone of miasma that's whipping up all the paper and paint and paintbrushes and flinging them around the room. And there's this humanoid-ish figure standing in the middle of it.
Yeah. And it's the kind of thing where people looking at it are probably going to see different things kind of materializing in it. But I mean, what we could say is that it after spending a little bit of time in the studio, it kind of passes out the window into the street, and Aurora kind of quickly leaps down the stairs into the streets to follow it, and it probably is going to the opera house. For what reason, we do not know, but that is at least the general destination, or the general direction that it is taking.
Yeah. It sounds like we're leading to this big confrontation. Do we want to go there, and so we have some time for epilogues, or do we want to leave that until the very end? Richard, you're muted.
Do we need Jean-Baptiste to have his moment?
I figured Sabine tricked him.
Oh, okay.
And led him to the opera house, or I do like. Okay, I take that back. I don't really want to do the Jean-Baptiste finding Jean on camera, just because there's nothing else in that scene. There's no one else in that scene.
I wasn't certain if Jean was actually dead or not, though. I just kind of left him there.
I'm assuming he is either dead or completely infected. So,
okay.
I think whatever it is, it shook you deeply.
Yeah, like I come out of one of these tunnels with like a black blood stain on my face and a saber, and I'm wearing Jean's like lapel pin that he always wore or something like that. And my eyes are just manic. And so we've got two crazy people. We've got two infected or mostly infected people.
Okay, I was gonna ask which were the first two, but now it's more clear.
Crazy but not infected, and crazy but infected. And infected. So, Richard, it sounds like you've been kind of prepping this whole scene. What did you have in mind?
Okay, so I think that when people arrive, like the opera house is like partially wrecked, and the thing is that when you walk into the seating area, there are all the seats are almost entirely filled with the infected. They're sitting quietly in fairly passively. They're just kind of, there seems to be a sense of waiting or of anticipation as this audience waits and looks at the closed curtain.
Yeah, and all I like all four of us coming in at the same time through different entrances.
And I think that there are empty seats. And I think that like one of the things that has that happens is that once you arrive, like the lights go on, you know, and these are like, you know, gas lights, but the residual miasma in the air causes them to burn a different color, like, you know, a ghostly blue-green, as they illuminate the curtain, which then parts. And when it parts, you see that there are places in the, like the set is largely wrecked, but like the center of the stage has been cleared, and there is a like an almost crumpled form in the middle of the stage with this eerie light shining on it.
Right off the bat, I'm curious what this whirlwind miasma figure thing that Aurora's been following is doing at this point.
Well, I think that like there is this this strange performance plays out, and in like an almost silence, like one of those situations where you can hear the performer's feet on the boards, as Sabine stands, and like, and it's clear that she is at least in some way whole, as and as she begins to perform, the miasma being kind of like occupies a part of the stage, and she seems to be like dancing with it. It kind of, you know, it's this swirling whirlwind that occasionally seems to adopt a human form, and, you know, just like, you know, sometimes just a limb, sometimes whatever, but it acts almost as her partner. And but as this happens, like the miasma in the general environment is kind of like flowing up onto the stage and into this tableau. You know, this is kind of like the last stand or whatever. So it's absorbing this, and the movement becomes increasingly frantic and increasingly kind of like a maelstrom of this kind of interpretive ballet, and it reaches this point where it reaches its crescendo, and there's this, and like Sabine is literally like swirling up maybe 10 feet up above the stage, as she and this figure turn around and around each other, and then you like the entire audience full of infected people just like a wind at their backs causes them to just like disintegrate, almost in like a, you know, Infinity War kind of way. You know, like blows them into dust that is carried with the wind of the miasma into the stage, and it swirls up all this energy, and everything gets pulled up, and then there's like a flash of light, and then you see Sabine disintegrate in the air as all the source of light goes out.
And so now we have this empty theater.
Yes. Full with just you
Just
and
the
ashes.
three of us.
Yeah.
I'm curious what the other two's reactions are immediately. Jean-Baptiste, if for what it's worth, is more interested in chasing Claude down than anything. But I'm curious to hear what Aurore sees as part of this, and also what her state is now.
I think Aurore is dazzled by the sight that she has seen, and she she kind of is kind of exerting herself to kind of recognize this as some type of beautiful piece of dance and theater that the miasma is kind of bringing about. The location of the opera house is leaves a kind of deep impression on Aurore. And I think when Sabine gets obliterated, Aurore says, "Oh, Sabine, you may have turned me aside when I tried to recruit you for the revolution, but I see now that that refusal was in the service of a much higher purpose, because now you have given yourself for this awe-inspiring final performance, and I can only give you my most heartfelt ovation."
Claude?
So what was it you just said to me? Sorry.
I'm just asking what your reaction is.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I thought nobody had actually
No.
said anything to me.
You're good.
My motivation?
Your reaction to this performance.
Seems that the rest of them have decided to descend into madness.
Are you still
Seems-
coughing and bleeding?
Yeah.
And, okay.
Yeah, I think I am, but I think that it seems that there still remains a sickness to the body that must be burnt away.
Are you sitting in any of the chairs?
No, I think I'm like kind of awkwardly like moving and shambling and coughing up the aisle.
Okay, so you're walking up the aisle towards the
Yeah,
the
kind of
stage.
mumbling about all this stuff about madness and needing to burn away the sickness from the body.
Yeah. And Jean
You know, stuff sane people say.
But let's let's maybe not make so many insanity jokes here.
Yeah. But Jean-Baptiste walks around to the front of the aisle that you're walking down. And he walks up to you and just like, I think he just takes your arm and
I
pulls
still
pulls
have
you
work to do yet.
pulls you straight.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. I still have work to do yet.
What
John,
work?
do not hold me back.
What work? What is left?
The city is falling apart. Can you not see it?
I'm going to turn and sit in one of the aisle seats and wave you to a seat if you're willing to sit.
I think I kind of collapse into it as if I've been walking for centuries. Where are we exactly? I've begun to lose my place here.
This was the Opera House. I came here a long time ago. An old friend who I haven't seen in a very long time. He was a baron. He was a very interesting fellow, but I cared about him. And he stabbed me in the back, just like you did. Just like everyone in this godforsaken city has. What else do you want to do, Claude?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put this into your hands. I'm gonna hand this over to you. I kind of laugh a bit, but I kind of cough up more blood and ichor. And I draw a vial and put it into your hands. Fire. I'm going to burn it out.
This city has done nothing for me. Let's watch it burn together.
Yeah, I think probably Claude is pretty lightheaded and passing out at this point, honestly. Yes, burn. And then I think kind of his head dips low and passes into unconsciousness, maybe death.
Definitely death, because that fire is starting in this building.
Cool. I should note I did play the three of swords here, which is why I handed that off to you.
Perfect. And yeah, so I've got the power move to use my influence to destroy something. How do I cause a spectacle? I think the spectacle is this at least this sector of Paris goes up in flames. Trying to burn out what amount of miasma is still left here. Does Aurora get out? Or do we end this show with everyone dead?
Mute.
Yeah. During the scene in the opera house, Aurora is in one of the balcony boxes. And she was totally overcome by the dance, and then I don't know what you want to call it, the obliteration of Sabine. But then, she sees Jean-Baptiste and Claude down there. And even though she's at some distance, I mean, I can play my card to overhear something important. So
I mean,
even though
I should note, this is also a point where, of course, one of you could like push back and hand us a point of power instead, if you want to like alter those strong moves in some way.
Yeah, I don't think I really want to. I think what I imagine is that Aurora overhears that exchange, and in her mind, it's just part of this big drama now that has played out in front of her, and she's a part of it, and she knows that the fire is coming, but she sits back down in her balcony seat, and is kind of contentedly then going to kind of watch as the building kind of incinerates around her, taking her with it.
All right. Well, that was a very depressing end to our game of 4 relatively horrible people who apparently got their comeuppance in the end, but managed to save Paris in the process.
Sabine got what she wanted.
Did we say Paris though?
We saved the parts that we didn't burn down.
Okay.
So thank you all very much. That was a ton of fun. Thank you, anyone who's watching. I'm going to end the recording now, but this has been part of the Gauntlet. You can find more about it at gauntlet-rpg.com. And if you go and sign up for some games, maybe then I'll play with you soon. But until then, I will see you around. Thanks, everyone.